There we are. Well, you've just seen that very first startup. That is amazing. The thing is running now. And all it's connected to is over there to that audio amplifier and to the ground outside. Welcome back to this small work table, and today could be a bit of a fun video because I want to step up from just running LEDs on these energy harvesting circuits and instead try and run a pulse motor. I have no idea how to do it yet, but that's the theme of today's video. First of all, here's the circuit that I'm going to be using. It's a modification of an energy harvester that I designed, and very kindly EMC for you too did some modifications, and here's his circuit. It really does work well. My circuit used to flash LEDs, his circuit lights them brightly and constantly, so it's been a great upgrade. Back on the table we can see the output that must be being produced from the energy that I'm picking up, which in this case is from the, well, an audio input on this amplifier. There's got a bit of mains leakage because it's just a 2-pin prong going into the wall, and that's the secret really. Instead of 3 pins such that the system will be grounded, in the US a lot of things have only got 2 pins, so the very slight mains leak is what we're picking up. The other wire here, that goes to a ground outside, 6 inches into the ground. The potential difference is what's running this circuit. So let's see what that potential difference, what that energy looks like on a meter. Right, so I'm using a pair of diodes back to back connected at one end. That's an AV plug, and what that allows is a half-wave bridge rectifier, so we can see what's coming through. And this might look exciting because it's 80 volts, and you think, wow, that is absolutely amazing. There's completely no current behind it. I'll show you. So now I've put an LED across the AV plug to form a load. You can see the LED is on, but it's not as bright as when we use the harvesting circuits. What I've also got is a 1 ohm resistor in series, such that we can do I equals VR and can have a look at the amount of current that's going through and put the 2 probes across, and not a lot of anything, is it? And that's the point really. We're just getting, well, 0, 2, whatever. Yeah, not a lot, and that's the point really. Just to demonstrate how little energy we've got, this is from a previous video where I converted a Laser Saber SGR looper to run with wireless energy output from this same kind of energy harvesting. And here's what happened. It's picking up speed and you might think, oh right, this is really good, this is going to be really perhaps lighting continuously any second. So we get to around here. Now if I leave it, just completely leave it alone, you'll probably see how it's starting to decay. There's not enough throughput of energy, and it'll just fade off if I turn it even more, and that's it, it goes out. We've got our work cut out for us. There's very, very little energy, as you've seen, and if we can get a motor to run from that, well, that would be kind of extraordinary. That's the whole idea. So here we are with the components. Now what I've got on the left hand side there, you can see a circuit and a coil, and that comes from one of these, in fact, that you might not have seen for several years because I can't find these things in stores anywhere. They used to be in Dollar Tree, little solar wavers, and they have a panel on them and they wave around in tiny amounts of sunlight. So they've got a very efficient drive circuit. I did actually find one in a box the other day. I also found a coil that went with it, so I've stuck the one to the other on that little piece of board over there, and that's what's going to form the drive circuit. Now in previous experiments I've tried to use a coil like this one. In previous experiments I've tried to use a coil like this one, and it's got about 350 ohms of resistance. It's not been enough to run properly with that kind of a circuit. So luckily I've found that coil, 500 ohms. I've got the inside of an old flashlight, so I can take the bits of metal off and use that as a stanchion to create the pulse motor. I've got a rotor there with 4 magnets all north facing out, and I've got that piece there of bathroom tile. So let's build the thing up. And I should explain before I get started that this circuit here will be being connected to the output of this circuit here. So scavenge the energy, send the output into this circuit that I'm hoping runs the pulse motor. Just while I'm cleaning up this old battery holder and get rid of all the metals, rusted metals, you can see how just with the light coming in from the window behind me, this little guy is wobbling a bit. They are a very efficient circuit. That's what I'm relying on for this project. There we are, I've got the metals out of there, and now I've put this little piece of cardboard in there to hold the rotor on. Now I've stuck it to the base, and the next thing will be to get a couple of magnets to make this rotor semi-levitated, as they call it. There we go, right amount of magnets. It's pretty good like that. So next thing is to get this circuit here, mount that next to the rotor, and then we can try it out with the driver circuit. Okay, so that's the little board on there. Next thing to do, I'll desolder the LED from here, and I'll connect these two wires to those two wires, and then we can see if we can get this thing to start moving. Looking at these connections, we've got the wires already connected at the bottom, of course, where the LED used to go on, and then we've got the positive on the top and the negative on the bottom, and they'll relate to the negative on this capacitor, and the positive is the other one. So that's all we've got to do, is to connect the two to the two. And there we go, ready for a test. All connected up. Oh, okay, let's try this. Right, this is a bit of a risk, but let's do this live, as they say. This will be the hopeful first start up, or at least we can see what it does anyway. It's going to be a heck of a lot of building going on there if nothing happens. Right, and connect up the ground to there. And oh, it's just kicked. Oh, it took a while to fill up the 470 UF capacitor, I'll bet. Hey, but it's certainly kicking. Yep. Oh, this is intriguing. I may have to spin it slightly to see, to keep it going. But it's certainly trying to do the kicking thing, which is how you'd expect one of these to start up. The idea being it would turn round to a certain point where it would kick again and carry on, kicking in the same direction, because they are an auto start. Oh, it's trying now. Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll slightly spin it, I think, and because it's like watching paint dry otherwise. Let's have well, hang on a minute. It may have started on its own. No. Alright, hang on a minute. Well, I keep wanting to leave it, because it does seem to be picking up speed, It will catch. It is catching. There we are. Well, you've just seen that very first startup. That is amazing. The thing is running now. And all it's connected to is over there to that audio amplifier and to the ground outside. But it's running. And I didn't have to spin it up or anything. There we are. It actually does work. I'm gobsmacked. I was not expecting it to run. But we saw how it took a while to fill that 470 microfarad. It took a few seconds and then it started to kick and it's come to life. Oh, that is fantastic. And the little system works. It will run a motor with no battery, no solar, no nothing. This should run now with 24/7. Oh, fantastic. Well, if you enjoy this kind of thing, please do consider subscribing. That'll be great, and I'll see you next time.